This is the Gary Cantrell Podcast.
The Gary Cantrell Podcast, Saturday, April 11th, 2020. How's it going, everybody? We've made it through another week. We have survived yet another week in this madness of this world that we're living in right now. And I truly hope that all of you are doing as well as you can be, all things considered. As for me, well, that's what this podcast is about, right? That's what the Saturday podcast you know and love is all about. It's about me. I'm kind of dedicated the weekends to doing a podcast on me. You know, every Wednesday I do a podcast on somebody else. We feature somebody, which, by the way, if you want to be featured on this podcast, it's not very hard to do. You just jump in my DMs on Instagram at Gary Cantrell and we just make it happen. That's it. It's that easy. And I love to feature people on this podcast. I love to hear new stories. I love to talk to new people. I love to figure what you're all about. So drop a line in my DM if you want to come on the podcast sometime and hang out and share your story. And by the way, it's kind of a big misconception of this podcast that it's it's driven on success stories and massive weight loss and all that stuff. And that is absolutely not the case. That's what kind of brings us together, is the weight loss, right? But it's really more about just your story, like who you are, letting people know what you're really all about. So, do you want to come on? Let me know. And, but on the weekends, I've kind of dedicated some time, usually about 10, maybe 15 minutes, to talk about kind of what I've got going on, what I've been up to, that kind of thing. And, hold on a second. I had a cough there. I hope it didn't pick up on mic. I know it picked up on the camera because I'm trying not to edit this at all. I'm trying to run this straight through, which is something that I don't normally do. I normally kind of chop it up and make it real nice and quick, but I wanted to see like what this is. I guess I should pull the cat out of the bag. I'm also video taping this podcast as well, and I'm going to throw it up on IGTV because why not? I actually want to see like how long does it take I know how long the podcast takes. It takes me, if I do a 10 or 15 minute episode, it's going to take me about another 10 to 15 minutes to take out some different things, like little sneezes and coughs, especially early in the morning like this. Right now it is almost 9 a.m. And so my voice is filled with all kinds of junk. Usually it's actually sounding better today than it normally does. And so this is kind of playing nicely into what we're trying here. So in a perfect world, it's about 10 or 15 minutes of recording, another 10 or 15 minutes roughly of editing, exporting, and uploading. So all in all, without the video element, it's about a half an hour, which is not too bad. I'm not going to complain about that. But I said, you know what? The sun is coming in. It looks very beautiful in this room. What if I pulled out the camera and just hit record? We're going to do a trial run. We're going to see how it does. If you guys like it, we'll keep doing it. And if you guys decide, hey, maybe I'm more podcast, well, then we'll just stick more on the podcast side of it. Sound good? Cool. So the latest with me, what is the latest with me? Not a lot has changed. I will tell you that. Not a lot has changed. I'm basically on the same thing. So right now with working, I'm basically working a normal schedule. I'm very blessed to be able to do that. I know that in this current climate, that is not the norm. And a lot of people are out of work. And I do not want to be out of work. And right now I am able to stay at work. So I am very thankful for that. And so as a result, I've just been working my normal schedule. And when I come home is when I try to do my workouts. Usually it's going to be some yoga, but I have been trying to, now that it's been nicer outside, I've been trying to sprinkle in some more walks with the dog. I tend to drag him along for about a mile or so. I can't really do any more with him because I don't want to wear the poor guy out. He's getting very old. My wife pointed this out to me yesterday. She's like, he's like nearly 60 years old in human years, and you're like, trying to get him to come along with you for a mile walk. And then it just kind of set in on me. I'm like, oh God, I feel bad about that. I actually feel legitimately bad about that, because I'm just like, oh my God, this poor guy trying to walk all that way. I mean, if he ever felt like if he was ever like, I don't feel like walking, like I would just, we wouldn't do it. Not that he's going to tell me this, but he could show me, I think. But I'm waiting for it to get like really warm outside, like 70s and 80s, because then I can just go out myself and I'll do, 4 or 5 miles without blinking an eye. Walking, that is. No running, not on these knees, but walking, yes. And I'm even open to making those distances longer, where, maybe it's 6 or 7 miles perhaps, just to kind of account for not running, not really jogging, but just doing straight walking. I'm okay with that. That would be okay with me. Just adding a little bit more to account for the lack of kind of like really pushing it. And there's always like power walking. You can walk very fast. I'm pretty good at that. So that's the plan. And I think that probably here in Virginia, we're going to get to that weather in about another 2 weeks or so. I'm thinking like where it's on the norm. Cause right now we're seeing like 1 or 2 days a week that are like that, which is fine. I mean, I'll take advantage of every one of those days I can get, but as far as it becoming the norm, we're probably about another 2 weeks away. I'm going to guess. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it in terms of kind of like the workout side of it. I finally got to go to the store for work. What was this, Thursday? And I got to stock up on a bunch of stuff, which was good. So now I can finally, because I'm working a more normal schedule, I'm able to stock back up on the things that I was used to eating. So that way at work, I can kind of keep that under control again. Cause the first 2 weeks or so there, I was going out a lot, very frequently. I had kind of run out of what I had in my office. And then I was just starting to go out. And that's not to say that you can't go out and make a healthy choice. You can go out and get a salad, but of course, like in my mind, I was like, oh, when I go out, I want Zaxby's, I want Chick-fil-A, I want all this stuff. And that's just not, it's not that it's a bad idea, but if you're going to go every day, it's not a good idea either. So, I'm happy to reach some closer level of normalcy, at least with the food at work, having my daily cereal with my bananas. That is awesome. And, so that's pretty much, it as far as the weekly schedule. I've actually got some podcasts I'm taping, what is this, next week and the week after. So that's going to take me up through the second week of June, which is, that's pretty awesome. So, I'm picking back up on that. So in other words, I'm trying to get my schedule as close to like what represents a normal schedule. So in my mind, like, I'm just like, I feel good mentally. I can stay strong, because if I'm doing close to what I'm normally used to doing, then chances are my brain is going to be like, oh, it's fine. It's cool. And, that's the goal right now. So, you can help me if you want to record some podcasts, keep me busy, please. I'm begging you. Let's record some podcasts, but, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, in a nutshell, that's pretty much it. And I'm trying to think, was there anything else that I wanted to mention? I'm still just, like you guys, I'm still just waiting to see how this whole thing plays out. I don't think any of us know, like, what the real deal is looking like what is the end game on all this? Like, what does all that look like? I mean, at this point, guys, my best advice is just to take it one day at a time. That's the best advice I can give you. If you're looking at like, well, by June or July, I'm going to be doing this, like, forget all that. Just stop. Don't even focus on that. Focus on what is in front of you today, maybe tomorrow, and leave it at that and just take every day like that, because I think that's the best plan of attack, honestly. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Keep your heads up. I know it's not easy. It's easier said than done, but keep your heads up, keep pushing forward, keep doing whatever it is that you need to do. Try to make yourself happy. That's all we can do right now. And with that being said, I am going to wrap it up. I will just say here at the very end, if you are listening to me on an Apple device, looks like that. If you're listening to me on an Apple device, head over to the iTunes or Apple Podcast or whatever. Leave a review if you can, please. It helps the Apple algorithm very easily. So check that out, and that's going to do it for me. I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. Who do I have on the podcast Wednesday? Let me do that really quickly before I get out of here. I'll tell you who's on the podcast this Wednesday, and that'll be it. This Wednesday, Danielle, Getting Fitty With It. So go follow her. I'm pointing on the camera to make myself edit something to put a name here. Danielle, Getting Fitty With It. Follow her. She's going to be on this week. We had an awesome chat. We went an hour and a half. That's how good our conversation was. So check that out. It's coming out Wednesday, and I'll probably be back here next week with another Gary Solo What I'm Up To podcast. So thank you guys for listening. If you're watching me on IGTV, thanks for watching me on IGTV, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.